Akwa babio mema wakwa ba mfambra ye Nnawotwi Yi so Adom TV. Afi mrena so say ye din come about a very important subject. Ghana for nyina ni dey achieve say omaimo ye economy ni be very hard, you know, at the closing stages of last year, about the beginning stages of this year, and Adom inflation skyrocketed. We went as far as over 50%. Adom afi drop on kakra. We know how exchange rate at a point in the day it may jump from where 10 cities it may call 12, it may call 13 in a day. It was quite a precarious situation. And IMF share situation. A banker say the only way I bet to me I overcome what the way say you benya IMF more near to me a working on our economy and sa abana program buying edekoye near friend the extended credit facility and the IMF and Sembe and omodia tuja ye nya sa asika we IMF in Sembe bre dia tuja nyoma wo se to me ye say wo se to me boy home modern na ye the public finances about back on a sustainable path fi say revenues ye nya na expenditure no ebra ama your public debt na ayakase pa almost wo hwe neoma buy yes or bete your spending so na we raise revenue na primary deficit no still no na in it remaining large in recent years, close to 5% in 2021 and 3.6% in 2022. I'll say combined unsustainable rise in interest payment reaches 7.4% of GDP in 2022. Almost half of government revenue no na nyadia ekoye no and a boy ma yenya sa heightened fiscal and debt vulnerabilities nema entumi NCC so on the program omodia be ejina large and front loaded fiscal consolidation path and no almost are buying target is obenya primary balance on a commitment basis into key fiscal anchor on that program no 1.5% of GDP by 2025 into that's the target. Growth, 1.5% by 2025. We'll be maintaining at least until 2028. I'll say, I know idea esi so sa buying bet to me aye. Na ya ne nkofo we brain ebe di nkomo afa sa project na programmer IMF for ede amaye no enuma bebre no maka se o sa buying etumi aye. Se ne be ya betumi ate ye vulnerabilities so ya ate expenditure so na ya ensure say ne ye nya no ene ne ye spend no edididi ho omo hwa enei o hwe ye international reserves omo say ebetumi ama 0.5 of 0.5 month of import cover, which is calculate here that will be like 2 weeks or so. It's just a nyasem papa enti or sa buying etumi born home modern na or ya say import cover no ebetumi about 5 months by 2028. How do we do it? Quite be able to me first one, able to achieve that objective, and ye babedi joining me in studio, Kojo Dankwa, regional communications officer of the NDC for Eastern Region, and a member of the national communications team of the NDC. Good morning, Kojo. It's a
good morning.
We have a call there.
I'm penning a football baby say offer once and a home before Uberukro. And he said, Kojo Dankwa, my better no pay. Say amamu bone ketase share krono ene dwirimo ekoso maya apratete apansam amna donkodonko ayakodam sam say mefa no ho abufu ene yo hawo kodanna ene yani atutu agu yensem siese be fa ho abufu a wa hwe e be ka se nyankopon enye bi nemom se moja redi afusane etachama eda bodwiem na ye kone ye be die ye ni hweka ye be ka se de twedi ampon no wa ye bi Timia, yahu ya nsa, yahu ya.
Okay, yo. Akojo nse nyoma mi hu die. Say nyoma koye ma ho.
Die na hu.
Wa brande wo wallet ne wa bodwo yi hu kama die. Say nyoma koye ma.
Oh, na o brande wo wallet na say nyoma koye.
Enkawe mate. Alhaji Fofana, you say Fofana a member of the NPP National Communication Team. Alhaji.
You never say mami dikantira minia. Say this is the first time I meet in any of the studios. Na mentia won so em se wo boy juma nya menhira wo oni wo team nyina ye tia mu nyina no pay amen ye be that trade ampon yakopon ase say no pay abehye mo ha ye be bobo nyama ho efa ye my Ghana ho economy ni nyama ese ye ka ho asem na ya sanka say yes it's true we are not in normal times but ye wremu a ne behwe baby free any baby a ye wo me wo ka say me a government spokesperson on social services.
Okay.
Me communication director for Greater Accra. Me from 2013 to 2018.
Okay.
And I'm a regional youth organizer for Greater Accra for 2 terms. And I'm a deputy regional secretary for 1 term.
Okay.
The longest serving regional officer of this party.
All right then.
Yeah.
And now
the current director of communication and current government spokesperson on social services.
Okay, that's beautiful. Now, Mame, we share Mame Abenafrim Poma. Happy birthday! I say na wa woda pa. Nyankopon enhira wo papa na oma onsanka wakoma so ebisade nyina. We every Teshi Apostolic Church Ghana, Teshi Nungwa area children ministry and omde ma o ene. Now, young Kwamana, so me start with Dr. Saidi Druso, no economist, Louisiana Economic Development. Doc, me machina ma kwa ba de ba Nnawotwi Yi so Adom TV. Bibi aboko de.
Nyami Adom.
Yo.
Micha listeners no nyina. Okay, me papa nti me de brofo beka so mo pancha me kakra.
O de be fra ma ye wa ho.
Exactly, yeah.
Doc, may I sure say by now you've gone through a document IMF release. You've apprised yourself with a Nyoma was here to me na ye achieve the objective of this particular project. First of all, what they say the board approval no? Who is saying?
Well, with the board approval, at least I would say a bantam. So I do the government has done well, let me put it that way, because we just, even though first, we were expecting it by March and it didn't come, and I buy another deadline or another anticipated date of somewhere in June. So with IMF giving us or getting the approval by May, at least the government has done well with that. Whatever magic or whatever negotiations they did, at least they did well, because we share there are still other countries that Ghana got to approval. So if Ghana has been able to get approval, at least they have done well in that regard.
Now, OSHA program where most government or target a primary balance on a commitment basis. The key fiscal anchor and the program 1.5% of on that comment. So government targeted primary balance on commitment basis of 1.5% of GDP by 2025. Government they can also to me first to achieve with this. If you're looking at a primary balance of 1.5% by 2025.
Well, we share document at least if you go to page 55 of the document, government Akasa has given over 40 policies that it intends to undertake. I mean, policies may don't mean to me kind of, but we share from page, I'll just say page 55 of the document to page 74 of the document. Government Akasa has listed the policies opposite on Mbake to be able to achieve the entire program objectives in that regard. So policies in the documents, there are over 40, and that is where we should focus our attention on, at least media, civil society, and all that, to be able to actually look at that. Because I know that you need to be a holding government, in the process to be able to ensure that the government actually do what it says it will do in achieving the IMF objectives.
Now, I've tended to our page, governments are expected to grow initially, or especially growth to initially decline to 1.5% in 2023 on account of front-loaded reform measures. Before say rises steadily in 2024 and beyond. What share baby economy where obviously then a buying a Nigerian one where hunti say well the economy could rise steadily from 2024.
That is something impressive that we are all expecting to see what miracle the government is expecting to perform. A kind of miracle in the sense that from 2007 all the way till this time, the performance of the government, and within the short period, government wants to just turn the economy around. I mean, we did say it's not going to be easy. But if the government comes out with these policies, then we just have to, I don't want to say we shouldn't rush in criticizing or we shouldn't rush in saying that, okay, it's not doable. But at least to me, wait, giving it by the end of the year and see what it has been able to achieve. Then we will know if these are just rhetorics or the government actually means what it's actually put in the report. Because we share that particular page media, is like the government itself told IMF what it intends to do if it gets the financing credit. So this is our monitoring tool that the whole country we should use to be able to monitor the government. Up to this point, has it been done? If it hasn't been done, then we could all point out the lapses. But for now, if we are going to say anything, as to whether government will be able to do it or not, to some of us it will be a miracle, but hey, miracles do happen. Because right now, we are shifting away from economic. It's like the government has defied all basic economic logic, all rational logic, and it's expecting to do something. So we are waiting to see what 3 billion could do in the course of 3 years.
Which means that you should I expect to say on bet me achieve what they have set out to achieve, right?
To be honest, no, I don't. To be honest, I don't see how it's going to be possible. But like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing the government. Let's give the benefit of doubt to the government. But looking at in the Ghana, they say that it's like if someone says they are going to give you a hat, you have to look at their head to see if they are wearing one. At least he should also have it before they could give you. So if the government is saying that they are going to be able to turn the economy around, what have they been doing since 2017 all the way to date? To show more track record from 2017 to date, it hasn't been impressive. So what are they intending to do different now that we should expect? And I just did some small slides. If your other panelists agree, I could share the bit of the slides that I have. Then we could maybe probably just spend a few minutes to look at some of these issues.
Exactly. Yeah, perceive to me dissect way. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay. Just give me the permission to share the screen. Okay.
Ogushwa Nnawotwi.
Yeah, I think the host has to give me permission. Yeah, so that I'll be able to share the screen. Yeah.
Okay. And Dr. Said Yenedi and Komono, Dr. Joseph Obeng, president for the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Doc, me machi ona mo akwaba. Dr. Obeng, me machi.
Mejo so bra.
Yo. Ghana call IMF yenim nsema ebeba bae na nsem kra no 3 new taxes be ebaye. Mokra mo de to just say any say you good businesses or abra ye hwe say betumi a revive the economy no and IMF amaye 3 billion aban say ne betumi akoye muhu ne say nia aban de abetu dwa wo hwe IMF document abeya any so ade hunu ben na mo say in fact ene betumi akoye de amagana ene more traders
yo I say aban ena odani jahu ena ohu se de na eja no ehihye no ena oba abonten no obeka say samre babia medro no timanko IMF omagana ye ho betre yen pa enti on say omode taxes miensa no ba ye no yenitua ese taxes no ebetimi ase ye nnwuma gu nnwuma no na esan say IMF nhyehyɛ no nso no yetimi hu say akodu pempenso a eba nti on say business communities no na fe ya trapped as see a card in WhatsApp and so now was the intimate tuatua certain tia esan say dey taxes we are bent no yenya consider ma IMF you know enti so obehwa near di nyansa pa na yes ade no no bi beka say bia yentu atua te say de bia ya na ye no and so na yenim say akwakwa na ntatwene to abodi ya nti ye ma ho kwan say
well yani doctor
me the IMF na every ya say eskani bi aba no de ya you know ya hwehwa and say a stability beba your local currency no ya de edumadi aye no say exchange rate no the din na interest rate and so ekofom na inflation kofom and no na enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Now over here couple of months ago no na sa indicators no na ni na break it enti ye hwe ani mu say IMF deal abai a very result sa 3 indicators the two exchange rate no cause 600 million no about kwan be na buy be hwe no take advantage of it. Now what they acquisition the foreign reserves now you see at the plate up to be 2 weeks of import cover no keka. Now ama strength be about the local currency no. And no ever sa na dia modern back currency no ma. That's also boa ama ye no niema na ye de ba no so ne boa na akofom kakra na the cost of doing business no ebeba form. Now say ba form dia ne ye hwe ani mu so say Bank of Ghana so ebabo na what monetary policy rate no so na ama yenso no cost of borrowing etimi akofom sa niema ni na akoya niema miensa ya aye intertwined anyene abum enti exchange rate no ko na interest rate na inflation no ni na no yetimi esane mu a na se aboa ye ne enso yetimi adi ye dwadie no ama yetimi pass on the benefit to the consuming public. It is the year share ni mo say IMF deal the bebre no the true.
Okay. You know, yes, our discussions were about Ghana Eco IMF near the audit to just say, well, say Abanyas can crana still expenditure no extra, you know, ni nyana still nano enkoyi. I'm sure say you read the conditionalities associated with this particular program. And no more as traders, no more satisfied with the conditionalities there.
Yo, say about say overspending anyone get on there. Say anukra de here IMF na beka kire say opa konmasika de dia konmasika mawa. Na wo no why overspending. And then there enye IMF plan say beka kire. Memo conditionalities bit say ye de eto bebre eto businesses so no there. And no, you're wrong. And no, na ye come once them say, revenue na ye nyano. And ye as a result, a twana ye no, your problem is a compliance no. And anyone is a kwanya a buying bet me a faso. Now let me ensure say what the efficient and pragmatic solutions be back. I'm sure compliance no and then never go. So said they be a compare tax to GDP no to the neighboring countries and say they no ever form cry. Eti say form the man they no conform say tax na ye tua wa han so no do VAT almost 22% line of taxes are your one level of taxes about 20 items taxes. The neighboring countries, omudiani na ayekuma ebi nu 10 line of taxes cry. And wamu VAT is so a new 22%. It ma wamu tuano affordable. And wamu compliance level no ever high. To wamu compliance level no ever high no. And wamu tax to GDP no akwa slow yedien. Inti yedien over taxation no. And wana eku no eku edwadie na eku aban revenue enhancement no. And inti so we share and you may be to say tax exemption policies in so abuse no free zones no warehousing sa and to say we go na say leakages wo hon ma yen hwenya sa ne ma no na say ehun ni fa so bia say so wo koye bargain bia na wo beka say me sa koje to awodo miensa ababo ape de wo ho no so and na e ka say government could have bargained for alternative and efficient measures and between the IMF. Enti ya kwa animu no de ya hwehwe ane say akwanya bi beba ne ya ne IMF still a yebetumi asinkunya na ya tell say IMF na nkasa nyo obobuta ni say obube collapse businesses because otherwise they won't have any good reference. One more person good reference for countries. And it is a war for fancy bi was it brand new bargain now for fancy bi bekunwa local industries. We are expecting Sabani Abesa Transit. Your media budget review, and one kikaho, your new woman IMF number window of opportunity. Yet me I negotiations na Sabaya IMF deal no a whole pan for papa amayan because it will amount to nothing. Say IMF deal beba. Yeah, the 600 million be boom. Now local businesses a gua. That's a question we try to catch a man won't be an MBA. And inti. Yes, let's say IMF Funanga no abanu negotiate yenya window of opportunity be near kwa animono and near ma ebeha businesses in puntu no yetimia anyene ni nyina ni ye no makana yama good alternatives na ya gazette into the media budget no na and also the same thing ebemianya the same results are your person everything. It's a businesses bet me etumpon whilst we are in the IMF conditionalities also.
Now, so also page 56 of document, which talks about macroeconomic policies and structural reforms. One of the things I'm motion is say implementing deep structural reforms to address structural issues in the economy that contributed to current challenges to embedded our fiscal and monetary policies in clear and binding multi-year framework. Now, earlier, now we can say, I was say, I buy share how will be to me, I release the monetary, I relaxing the monetary policy rate, But if you look at a document now, it clearly says there will be tighter monetary policy. In Tinebia, relaxing it may not be adding more money that's what we have account. Because your point, I say, continue the appropriately tight monetary policy to firmly re-anchor inflation expectations and achieve low and stable inflation within our medium-term target band of 8 plus or minus 2%. And I don't know what to say because it looks like more monetary policy nyadi umbe relax mo kakra.
I don't know yet. Wo bargaining strength. Because I was wanting to put prudent and hard but we are textbook economics, but we are talking about reality. Inflation experience your cost push inflation.
Okay.
As a result of accumulation of cost. And excess liquidity will be up to 2021 reduce increasing monetary policy rate. Ama lending rates are cost of and can you bet me a cable the liquidity in the system. But it's not helping, has it? No. Anytime what we to be on inflation no control because they are compounding the cost of doing business.
But I'm say enam sa monetary policy no mu kakra no enam na inflation ever down no.
Now inflation no about down saying you started 13.5 in the year 2021 or so near what 13 and one 2 more 1 to be 8 times. No more to me now, no more to monetary policy rate when now call a could do 53%.
Yeah, doc. And a do 53 and then they brought this or more increasing the monetary policy rate. Two more increasing 2 times. And then the inflation about from to the more attribute success, to the monetary policy rate increment on the buy. That's why I almost said to continue the appropriately tight monetary policy rate.
No. Let's be scientific about these things. I'm so I'm an economist, because sir, exchange rates as a factor of cost of doing business very important. The exchange rate started coming down. And I don't know the pull factor of the inflation coming down.
Okay.
And then as a result, say you increase monetary policy rate. Never. Okay. So exchange rates are a factor as a component of cost. So and that's something too. But a difference, small difference, that trigger a higher difference in cost. And it's exchange rate that from and they pull way down. But you don't have to increase the monetary policy rate to increase the commercial lending rates. Now it is over 40%. Cost of borrowing. 85 now. Well, no, once your inflation basket, no buy a woman no be no made in Ghana goods near ma you food here you be no gekau. I didn't know near ma you be any has no a bit me nyasa inflation because see no okuani no ekodoafu no akoji bosia 40% already na 40% na daba banker echa ni no ba ye na no o de 40% no eka ho ansa na niema yi yakra wo beto this time yemfa so na edo ya de imported goods to say agrochemicals no nkeka ho any say tractors no nkeka ho and spare parts ni na imported and the money no cost. It's a cost of accumulation of cost. It's a one more ability to bargain and argue with the IMF. And as if you would be a idea do cost slaughterhouse. Now we kill local businesses in that. No, and they will never accept that.
Dr. Robin, me pese me no wrap up because I think that we need to or say ja now ko hwade for friend na me bisa say more as traders afia sika we ahya ase ebe da de na money da kwan say aban betumi aye na aboa ma economy na grow to help traders and ye nyina aye o man mu
aban my window of opportunity the answer in interest na yene IMF enkoso engage because I'm sure said that window of opportunity no ho na eniema ebe ya consider eme ya dwedie eniema betumi aboa te said the monetary policy rate in near come has him kwan ya betumi aye ama ma relax eno no ama cost of borrowing na perform kwan ya ye befa so ama exchange rate ni betumi sustain because you sustain na when once we about your speculation around it no kra no a help pa it is a wo antimi anya nhye bia e be sustain is a positive speculation no say niam cost na esa ya wo say na exchange rate no asa kosoro na afia ma niam aginsem ti aban na nkasa so enhye ya obeye na wantimi sustain that this positive environment no very important eno na ye hwe ni mu say ye na no ye bobo baba chidom na ye na ye hwe kwan a ye betimi e nya alternative solutions na as against the some of the conditionalities no eno e basa dia ye betimi nya baby papa asa gina bio
but am hwe kwan say bia obama yan hye bia office say si a ye betimi aka so good say aban enye se ntin hye be na mfisa wo say aban ye.
Yeah, on say, value for money is very important. See, I hope you come na because you overspend it. It's quite bad. You be fast so you bit me against say you expenditure part no e be conform. Quite bad. You be fast so leakages in the system no so no you bit me aso no. Bibi to say a tax exemption policy yebenya ho akokoduro atwamu ana yetwamu a yebenya be 5 billion na ye saa no so no na afei no yenya akokoduro se eto ahoroɔ no a ɛwɔ hɔ no so no yebetimi ama ne the rate of tax no aba from na compliance ne affordability no etimi aye adwuma eno ebasa ne nyinaa no ye boa positively to the development of the country.
Okay, all right, Doc. Medase, why? Thank you so much. Say what me join here.
Okay.
Dr. Said. Dr. Said, so yeah, economist, the Louisiana Economic Development. Doc, you know, didn't come start now. New be prepared to help buying to ensure say we get the best out of this IMF deal. No, let's go into it, sir.
Yes, may chairman or host now my permission to share the screen.
Okay.
So they have to activate me to be able to share the screen. Yeah, I almost say host disabled party.
Okay.
So I take the background where I saw my permission. Yes, I need to share the screen.
Okay, whilst I'm a director, I am out permission. Okay, can we stay here so that maybe I have more permission here Drew baby.
Yes, baby. Now, Dr. Ekano, unless there is a bit of trade-off in that regard because most of the times, depending on, the way our economy is structured now, most of our businesses are not domestically grown. It's like they are importers businesses. So if the monetary policy goes higher, then definitely the cost of borrowing goes higher. So it goes to affect the businesses because a lot of them borrow just for import purposes because it's not like the advanced economy whereby the businesses are within the domain are not so much on import in that regard. So the more you increasing the monetary policy rate, if you are not careful, you end up affecting the businesses. With the regular economic textbook, it's fine. Increasing the monetary policy rate will invariably translate to reducing inflation because at the end of the day, you're making sure that borrowing becomes high so that people will not borrow, then you'll be able to control spending, thereby trickling down to controlling inflation. That is the regular textbook economics, which everybody knows. But with the kind of economy that we are dealing with in Ghana, if the Bank of Ghana is not careful, this could affect the businesses. So there is a bit of trade-off which the government really has to be careful of. Yes, businesses, they wouldn't be able to borrow to be able to even go purchase their goods and services. Okay. So the government will really have to take note of that. And like that, I was pointing out with regards to...
Dr. Michelle, maybe try to share or screen on that. Yeah, I'm sure it's between accept.
Yeah, honestly, I've been talking to a producer to be able to give me permission. It will be going back and forth over the phone. I don't know what is happening. Why they are not giving me permission up to now.
Okay,
because I really,
from our end, you're disabled. Okay, we'll work on it. About it. We'll work at it, sir.
You have to give me permission. I won't be able to share it.
Doc
because you are controlling the
Martin, once we work at it, I'm sure we'll try and rectify that. Yeah.
And rectify that exactly. So it's like that is why I was pointing out, like the whole context, already the government and the IMF, they are telling us that almost blaming the whole economic woes on the global shocks. Global shocks in case of COVID-19 pandemic and all that. That is what they are blaming it on. But they are shifting away from the domestic activities, like the overspending of the government. Let's just say the luxury presidential rentals. All these costs could have been avoided. The over 1,000 presidential staffers. Some of the mismanagement locally affected or caused this economy woes, but the government is shifting away from that. And again, if you look at the IMF itself, more concerns. I do agree with some of them because they are talking of removing the VAT exemptions. It's like Ghana in particular, we give so many VAT exemptions to some of these businesses. And again, we give so much customer exemptions to some of these businesses. So there are genuine concerns that I think the government really needs to look at, because the IMF normal has more reason. Another one is tax holidays. Government is giving so many tax holidays. That is also a concern the IMF is raising. And I think I buy no so no ultimately reduces Again, they raise the issue about making progressive or making increment in personal taxes. So I don't really agree with the IMF on that aspect, because we share the tax system now. It's like we are even overburdening people who pay income taxes, because the focus should be on the tax administration or the revenue administration, because we spend so much in collecting these taxes, which doesn't even get to the government at the end of the day. So if we are able to even look into some of these tax administration, identify all these weaknesses like the IMF is saying, and be able to seal them, there wouldn't be any need to keep increasing taxes day in, day out. So that is where the government needs to really focus on, because it's like e-levy like this. You went and passed e-levy, but at the end of the day, you couldn't even raise the enough revenue, but you spent so much in collecting the e-levy. And again, at the end, people don't even get to pay it. So you really need to look into the whole administration. If you are saying that you are going to collect 1,000 in taxes, at least at the end of the day, that 1,000 should get into government coffers. The 1,000 shouldn't be divided with probably 20% or 10% going into private pockets. If the government is able to control some of these aspects, then you realize that there wouldn't be a need to keep increasing taxes. Like recently, the 3 new taxes that they passed, all this will burden the economy. All this will burden the already suffering Ghanaians in that regard. And again, we share, some of the objectives now. I totally do agree with the program objective, because the program has 3 main objectives, very clearly defined. That is restoring the macroeconomic stability, debt sustainability, and laying the foundation for higher and more inclusive growth. So it's like government is looking to be able to restore the macroeconomic stability by lowering down inflation rate to the Bank of Ghana target. And the Bank of Ghana is targeting 6% to 10% inflation rate. So if they are able to achieve that, then definitely it will be good for the country. And again, they are also looking to stabilize the city and also help with the financial stability of the banks and all that. All that constitute the macroeconomic aspect. And with the debt sustainability, they are looking to bring down the debt to GDP from 88.1% to about 55% in the long run, and also helping to moderate the rates of the debts within the medium term. These are all good for the economy if they are able to do that. And the third objective is to be able to lay the foundation for growth. That is where the private sector comes in. I don't really know what plan the government has in place to be able to help the private sector. So I will expect the government at least to engage the traders unions, the associations and all that, to be able to see how they will be able to reach out to them. Because at the end of the day, it's part of the objective to be able to help the private sector to grow. And the private sector definitely forms part of the engine of growth of ever developed economy in the way. And again, part of the program objectives is to be able to support the vulnerable in society. Like we share a LEAP program now, which the government said it has increased already in the 2023 budget, and also the school feeding program, health insurance, and all that. So all these are clear objectives, which, we expect that the government should be able to achieve. And to be able to achieve these 3 objectives, government itself is setting some policy priorities. I must say first, they will be looking at the tax policy administration, they will be looking at public financial management, and in all that regard. That is when they talk of the LEAD program being increased, the school feeding program being increased. And again, they've been able to pass the 3 new taxes. And we share recently ECD they've been going around disconnecting people. It's all part of the IMF program. We sure there have been so much illegal disconnections, including some police barracks or police stations, big companies and all that, because the IMF is concerned about the energy sector being inefficient and also our cocoa sector not being efficient to a larger degree. So that is also part of the policy program that government is doing. And as we speak, by June 1st, electricity or energy bills are even supposed to go up by 18.36%, which was announced by PURC. So they are all part of measures that government is putting to be able to restore back the economy based on the IMF suggestions. And again, the other policy priority or the other policy measure is to be able to stabilize inflation and also, our foreign exchange reserve to at least 3 months of imports. See, they now can't begin. It's like our international reserves are almost depleted. It cannot even last Ghana to a month. So at least the Bank of Ghana is looking forward in putting that. And that is why some of to be able to control inflation, like I was saying, they are raising the policy rate. As at March, it was around 29.5%. And there are even speculations it may even go higher. But like I said, at least the Bank of Ghana has to take into account that trade-off, especially with a developing economy like Ghana, where your businesses are more import-based. The more this rate goes higher, the more doing cost of business goes higher. So in an effect to bring inflation down, there will be a trade-off where businesses could be hedged. And it may not give us the desired results that we get. Also, there has been the policy priority of focusing on stabilizing the financial institutions. Financial institutions, that's where the government made a promise that they are going to set up a 1.5 billion financial stability fund.
Yeah,
that is a good plan if the government is able to do it, because at the end of the day, the banks that made losses like GCB Bank, which made over $50 million losses, all these other banks, they will be able to benefit from that fund and will be able to stabilize the economy. And again, like I indicated with regards to the page 55 to 47, there are over 40 policy issues that the government said it will do. So you and I, the civil society organizations, Ghanaians in general, all stakeholders, will have to focus on this particular part of the report from page 55 to 74 and start holding the government accountable. Because, so let's say, for example, if you go to number 8, the government clearly states what it intends to do in terms of the tax compliance and all that. If you go to page, number 15, the government is telling us what it intends to do in terms of improving our social safety net. If you go to number 15, 16, so all those stuff are what we really need to really hold the government accountable to. But aside all the brilliant IMF reports, let's shift away from the IMF reports and start to dig in questions. When I say questions, let's just not read the IMF and start smiling. Oh, this is a beautiful program. Because number one, how do you fix a country?
In the next 30 seconds, we'll be
Yeah, okay. So how do you fix a country that is seriously in debt with GDP, debt to GDP close to 100%? So Australia is a big concern. Again, the government said it wasn't going to IMF, but finally it went to IMF. And also, this is going to be our 18th IMF bailout. So with the 18th IMF bailout, are we really sure that it will be able to solve our economic woes? That is the questions that we should all be asking. And again, if the government, with all the resources it had 2017 to date, it had over $40 billion in terms of loans, grants, and domestic revenue. Over $40 billion from 2017 all the way till now. It hasn't been able to salvage the economy. Are we really sure that $3 billion could do magic? That is what every Ghanaian we should all be asking. The government, at least to be able to tell us. And again, we as Ghanaians and we as citizens should be looking can we trust the government enough to be able to manage even the 3 billion effectively?
Okay, Doc.
That is another question.
So to me, I join here, Dr. Said, economist with the Louisiana Development Association.